Alright, so today I want to give you an updated tour of my reptile room, show you some of the challenges that I face and some of the upgrades that I'm making. And probably the biggest challenge I have in my reptile room is that I don't have a whole lot of space. I have all these racks in here, crammed in about just under 200 square feet. It's pretty crazy. As a matter of fact, I actually have some racks that I can't even feed my snakes without pulling out the racks first, and then I feed my snakes and then kind of push them back behind other racks. It gets kind of crazy trying to do the shuffle, and everything in here is on wheels, which makes it a lot easier, but I'm definitely running out of room. And I decided to put one more rack, squeeze it into my reptile room, and I want to show you where I'm going to put that rack. Let's check it out. Alright, so I first want to give you a quick 360 of all my racks. Every single rack in here is made by ARS Caging, and kind of the cool thing about the ARS racks is you can buy just one level at a time. When I first started out in ball pythons, let's see, I bought just 3 levels of my ARS 7030. So I had these 3 levels, which was like 9 tubs right here, and I had them set them, actually they were setting directly on the ground with no wheelbase or anything. That's how I started. Then the next one, I actually took the 7030s, I had them on the bottom, and then I stacked on my 8018s on the top, and then I finally got the wheelbase and decided to get the boa tub for my reticulated python, and that's how I started. This was my very first rack over here. And then when I produced my very first hatchlings, I bought this rack over here. This is my ARS 1039 hybrid, and on this rack it was pretty funny because I sold some hatchlings and I bought this rack, and within like 3 weeks I completely filled it up. And then I went to my other hatchling rack. It was kind of crazy. And then I had some grow outs that I was starting to grow up, and I decided to buy some 5040 tubs over here and had a pretty good stack of 5040s, quite a few, and decided to add a couple layers of my different boa tubs on the bottom. Kind of the bummer about this is I can't stack these boa tubs on that boa tub because that is the old style boa tub, and this is a slightly different size. These are slightly smaller, which sometimes some stuff you can actually stack and some you can't, which is kind of maddening. And then I actually kind of transitioned over to my rodents and got all these rodent racks over here, and the rodent racks have been fantastic. Let me tell you, I got my life back when I got these rodent racks. The rodent racks, then I have all these rats over on this side, and then rats and mice over on the other side. And you can definitely tell I'm kind of spatially challenged with the tripods and lighting and everything. And this is kind of the one spot I'm working on over here. This is an ARS 1065, kind of tucked in the back for kind of an overflow of hatchlings. And then down here, check this out. This is kind of my upgrade. This is an ARS 7010, just one level of an ARS 7010. That's right. I have another level I can put on top, and I've been pretty much using this just for quarantine, and I decided it fits perfectly down here. I have this whole rack of just miscellaneous supplies that I use. And the only thing that I really need to keep in here are these dubia roaches down here. So I'm thinking maybe taking the dubia roaches, putting them on top of this 7010 rack, and I can put a few levels, maybe get it up to maybe this high, and then put my roaches up on top, or figure out where else. Maybe I could put my roaches like on top of a rodent rack or something to kind of keep them in here, and then kind of, you know, keep stacking on the 7010. But I was thinking I could actually move this rack kind of move it out of the room with all my junk on it here. I don't really need this. I used to have a bunch of other stuff on that rack that had to be in here, but it doesn't need to be. And then I'll kind of just squeeze this right back in the corner. Take a look at that. That is awesome. So I can have my 7010 and stack that up and fit another 10 snakes. I don't know if I could fit 10 snakes in here. I could probably only fit I can only probably stack maybe 8. I'll have to measure the distance and see how many snakes, but that would be pretty awesome because I can move a lot of these grow outs. I have some grow outs. Like, let me move a light over here. I have a couple snakes that really need to move up to the 70 series tub. I have this lesser clown over here. And this girl, look at how big she is. She definitely needs to move up to a 70 series tub. I was thinking of moving this one up, and then I have this clown over here, which is, you know, a little bit, I think, pretty much right on the edge. This one is pretty much right on the edge as far as being, you know, just comfy here. I definitely want to move this one up. And then I have another pinstripe pied over here. She's, I don't know, pretty, I think I could move her up into another one. She is definitely big enough to move up into a 70 series tubs. And then I'll save these mostly for some of my grow outs. So I actually have, as a matter of fact, this is kind of the normal size snake you would want for a tub like this is something like this. This is kind of the appropriate size snake for a tub like this. This is Pee-wee, my coral glow. Take a look at this guy. But you're always kind of moving and you kind of shifting and upgrading. So over here, essentially what I have over in this corner, I can kind of show you this. Take a look at this. So I can move this. This is really nice. It's all on wheels, and these ARS wheels, it's like glass sliding them around. It's almost like it's on an ice rink, kind of moving them around. They have like the best wheels of any wheels that I've seen. And there's probably a whole bunch of dirt behind these racks. I haven't gone back here and vacuumed for a while. This one's been tucked back here since last season. I almost had this thing completely full. And essentially what I do is I pull it out completely like this, and then I'll go through and I'll feed all the hatchlings in that rack. Look at how many hatchlings that I can fit in there. That is an incredible amount of hatchlings that I can fit in all these tubs. Pretty amazing. I actually cleaned out all the tubs and changed all the cards, and they're all kind of ready. And kind of the weird thing is last year I was pretty much selling all my snakes at the reptile show, so this was filling up pretty much all season until I hit the shows. And now that I'm selling on Morphmarket, I'm not sure that I'd ever really use this rack unless, you know, I really expanded and started producing a whole bunch. I probably have to produce like, you know, a couple hundred hatchlings or something, and you really need two hands to move that back. So essentially what I do is I just kind of tuck it in the back when I'm done with it, and that's kind of the whole arrangement of this. And the other thing I wanted to show you, check this out, if I can actually get around here and kind of show you this. So take a look at this. If I can move around in my limited space. The one thing that I didn't realize, this is not one of the hybrid ARS racks. This is the one with the full steel. And with all these ARS 8018s and the 7030s, this thing is a beast to move. Look at this. I can pretty much almost lean against this to actually, before it'll move. It's so heavy. That thing is probably, I'm guessing it's probably 1,000, 1,500 pounds or something like that. It's amazing how heavy that is. So that one is on wheels, but it is extremely difficult to move just because of how heavy it is. It is a beast. It's pretty amazing. And then this 1039 over here, this is so light. It's so light and easy to move. It's unbelievable the difference between the hybrid and the regular. I think that's why they went to the hybrid, because these are so heavy, especially, you know, with the boa tub and the 8018s and everything. But that is kind of my challenge. And then last year I bought this really beautiful table. This is really super nice. I used to have kind of like a folding table in here that was kind of falling apart, and this thing is really nice. Actually, it has you can actually kind of crank this up, and it can lift it all the way up to maybe up to here, which is really super nice, and it kind of glides real easy and has these open spots on the bottom. I bought this over on Home Depot. I think it was like 300 or 400 bucks. It was pretty expensive, but it's a really super nice table, and that thing could probably last me the rest of my life. That thing is built like a tank. All right, so I'm going to show you another challenge that I have. Look at how much space I have in here. You can almost reach across from one rack to the other. It's so small. This is really crazy. And I have to move this table over to this side to feed my rodents. And essentially what I do is I spin these racks around. These are really super nice racks. And these are ARS. This is actually the rat and the mice racks. You can actually see how dirty the hidden corners of my reptile room are. You can see all the food in here. This is all the Missouri rodent food in here, and this is what I feed all my rats. I actually just filled it up. It holds like, I think I just topped it off with like 200 pounds of food, which tops off all the tops and bottoms. So essentially, you know, you kind of have to look at how much room is in here. It's really a challenge trying to fit all this equipment in here. It's doable, and it's amazing how much equipment you can fit in such a small space. And these racks are pretty heavy once you fill them up with, I'd say maybe each one of these holds probably 200 to 300 pounds of food. It's pretty amazing how much food it can actually hold. Now once you get the bedding and the rats and everything in there, it's pretty heavy. It's manageable for one person with two hands. And the other thing that's kind of cool is take a look at this. This is one of the upgrades that I did. This is so dirty. I actually didn't clean anything except the floor for the video. I usually vacuum in here every single day, but I usually only vacuum these racks like once a week or something. And then the kind of the weird thing is I actually have all the rat racks on the bottom, and then I bought these 2 levels of mouse racks, and I quickly found out that the mouse racks didn't stack on top of the rat racks. So what I did is I welded up this custom bracket. I actually went to the store and I bought this, I think it was like 1-inch square pipe. I can't remember the size of that. I have a little welder and I welded it all together. So essentially from this spot right here all the way up to this spot right here. So this bar and then this bar and then this bar in the front over here, I welded it, and then I tried to buy a paint that closely matched this one. It didn't quite match. You can see it's a little bit off in color from the regular ARS, but I absolutely love it, and it kind of gives me a handle to hang on to, which is really nice, and I can move it around. And this is, you know, you can pretty much stack anything if you're a welder, and you can buy the metal. And as a matter of fact, I was actually thinking, yeah, I can actually kind of put my whole rack together, and I kind of figured out the price as far as the metal and the paint and everything. And let me tell you, you can't hardly break even making your own rack versus the cost, unless you bought it in bulk by the truckload or something like that, which would be kind of crazy. And then you're probably paying more in labor than anything else, and I decided it's not really worth it. You know, these racks are super expensive, but then when you sit down and pencil in all the costs of the materials and the labor, let me tell you, you couldn't do it any cheaper by yourself. It's kind of crazy how fast the costs on that add up. Alright, so there you have it. That is my reptile room in raw footage, as real as it gets, pretty much crammed in here. It's pretty amazing how much stuff I can cram in here. I actually saw one of the big breeders, when they first started out, essentially what they did is they took like little Tupperware tubs, like the plastic bins, and they were using them for hatchlings and stacking them on wire shelves, and they were taking the wire shelves on wheels and pretty much stacking them all face to face, and then they shuffle through all the wire racks, kind of like, almost like index cards, trying to get to all their hatchlings. It's pretty amazing how some people can really use up all the little limited space that they actually have. So that is pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.